There's something most men completely miss about what actually draws a woman's attention, and more importantly, what keeps it. It's not about how much money you display. It's not about listing your achievements. It's not even about being the funniest or most charming person in the room. What separates the men who truly capture a woman's interest from the men who are simply tolerated is something far more subtle and far more powerful. It's the ability to make her feel genuinely seen, not just observed. It's knowing how to ask questions that go beyond the surface conversations she's already tired of. It's understanding that attraction isn't built through impressive monologues, but through creating space where she feels safe enough to reveal who she really is. By the way, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments. I'm Issabela, and I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. Now think about this for a second. What do most women experience on a daily basis? They're looked at. Their appearance gets noticed. They receive compliments about how they look, what they wear, how they present themselves. But how often are they actually seen? How often does someone ask them something that makes them pause, think, maybe smile slightly, and respond with, no one's ever asked me that before. That moment right there, that brief pause where she's processing something unexpected, that's where real intrigue begins. That's how you create psychological tension without touching her. That's how you earn genuine respect without proving anything. That's how you plant the seed of desire without ever mentioning desire at all. Here's what you need to understand clearly. Attraction operates on two levels at the same time: physical and psychological. And while most men obsess over the physical, it's the psychological that creates lasting pull. A woman becomes genuinely drawn to a man when she feels emotionally safe to be herself. She feels curious about who he really is. She senses depth that most men simply don't have. And that kind of connection doesn't start with compliments or job titles. It starts with one thing: the right question. Not random questions, not boring questions, but questions that spark thought, open emotional doors, and create an experience she rarely feels. So if you're tired of conversations that go nowhere, if you're done being the guy who gets polite replies and nothing more, if you're ready to be remembered, not just in her chat history, but in her mind, then stay with me. Because by the end of this, you'll have 7 psychological keys that unlock real attention, real curiosity, and something deeper that small talk never creates. Every man has been there, talking to a woman he's attracted to, trying to find the balance between being interesting and trying too hard, between showing interest and seeming desperate, between connection and awkward interview mode. He wants to be memorable, not just in that moment, but later, when she's alone, replaying the conversation in her mind, wondering what it was about him that felt different. But here's the problem. Most men approach women like they're pitching themselves. They perform. They present a polished version. They repeat rehearsed lines, and without realizing it, they place themselves in the same category as everyone else. Predictable, surface level, forgettable. But you're not here to perform. You're here to do something rare, to create space, where she doesn't have to perform either. Because the man who pulls her out of autopilot, who breaks her usual pattern of responses, that's the man she remembers. That's the man she thinks about later. So how do you do that? Not by talking more, not by showing off. You do it by asking better questions. Because a powerful question doesn't just start a conversation, it creates an emotional experience. It signals depth. It shows presence. It reveals awareness. And when a woman feels both mentally stimulated and emotionally safe, you become rare. Not just another name in her phone, but the exception. I'm going to give you 7 questions. They're subtle, they're disarming, they're powerful. And they work, not by manipulating emotions, but by awakening them. These aren't cheesy pickup lines. They're not interview questions. They're designed to make her lean in, drop her guard naturally, and open a part of herself most men never reach. So if you value real connection over fake tactics, Depth over performance. Stay with me. Because the moment you ask these, with calm confidence, with presence, she will feel something shift. Question 1. What's something you believed strongly 5 years ago that you don't believe anymore? This goes straight into her personal growth. It makes her reflect. And when she reflects, you become the man who sees her evolution, not just her surface. Question 2. When do you feel most like yourself? Now you're discovering where she feels free, where her real personality shows up, and she'll start associating you with that feeling. Question 3. If nothing was stopping you, what would you be doing right now? This unlocks hidden dreams. It gives her permission to speak freely, and that emotional freedom builds attraction. Question 4. What kind of connection do you think you truly deserve? This reveals her self-worth, her past, her expectations, and instantly separates you from surface-level men. Question 5. What's something people misunderstand about you? Now you're accessing her deeper truth, the part she doesn't show everyone, and that creates real intimacy. Question 6. If you could tell your younger self one thing, what would it be? This opens emotion, regret, growth. You see her full story, not just the present version. Question 7. What does freedom mean to you? Now you understand what drives her life, what she's chasing, what matters most to her. Each of these questions has power, but only if you ask them with real presence, not to impress, not to act deep, but because you genuinely want to understand. Because that's the truth most men miss. It's not money, it's not looks, it's not lines, it's presence. Calm, grounded, unshakable presence. The kind that listens fully, the kind that asks what others don't. Because when you do that, you're not just talking to her, you're creating an experience. And she will remember that. She'll think about it later. She'll replay it. She'll feel it again. And she'll wonder why you felt so different. And the answer is simple. Because you chose depth when everyone else chose surface. If this hit you, drop a comment below. And subscribe, because I break down psychology and connection in ways most people never talk about. Take care.